Archangel Michael says, have you noticed a peculiar silence lately? Someone who once called, texted, or checked in frequently, has vanished. No explanation. No goodbye. Just an empty space where their presence used to be. At first, you may have questioned yourself, did I do something wrong? Did I miss a signal? But Archangel Michael says, this is not a coincidence. This is not a delay. This is a divine disconnection. In the physical world, it may look like they moved on or lost interest, but in the spiritual realm, something far more serious was seen. Heaven has paused this relationship for your protection. You are not being ignored, you are being shielded. Archangel Michael, heaven's warrior of truth and protection, has placed a spiritual barrier between you and someone who once had direct access to your heart, energy, and daily life. Why? Because they committed an act, spiritually or physically, that could have derailed your destiny. And heaven knows what you do not yet see. This person is no longer allowed to send messages, communicate emotionally, or even speak about you in casual conversations without consequence. That's how sacred your assignment is. That's how dangerous their presence became to your path. You see, there's something about your soul that draws people in, your compassion, your light, your divine potential. But not everyone who's drawn to you is aligned with your destiny. Some come to distract, delay, or even destroy the progress God is birthing through you. And in this case, heaven had to step in early, because their intentions were already turning in the wrong direction. And here's the truth, you would have continued giving them the benefit of the doubt. You would have forgiven, explained, and overextended. But Archangel Michael says, enough. There is a line that must not be crossed. And they crossed it. Type Amen 828 to get blessings. So if your phone has been unusually quiet, if their name hasn't popped up in days or weeks, don't see it as rejection. See it as redirection. You have been placed in a holy witness protection program, guarded not by coincidence, but by command. The silence is sacred. You're not being forgotten. You're being preserved for greater. Take a moment now. Breathe in deeply and whisper this aloud. Archangel Michael, thank you for silencing what would harm me. Thank you for guarding my communication, my mind, and my peace. Your life is moving into a new chapter, one where divine connections are stronger than emotional attachments. And as we journey through this message together, you'll understand the full picture of why heaven had to make this person disappear. You were never meant to see it right away. Heaven intentionally shielded your heart while things were being exposed behind the scenes. But now, the time has come to lift the veil. Archangel Michael reveals that a betrayal occurred, one that was deeply personal, cunningly quiet, and spiritually significant. This person, the one who once called you friend, partner, or even family, allowed jealousy, resentment, or selfish ambition to grow inside them. And instead of confronting their feelings honestly or walking away with integrity, they chose deception. They spoke words against you in rooms you were never invited into. They planted seeds of doubt about your character, your success, your spiritual walk. They took your name and handled it carelessly, thinking you'd never find out. And for a while, heaven allowed them to speak. Not because you were weak, but because they were exposing themselves more with every hidden action. What they didn't know was this: heaven listens to what is spoken when you're not in the room. Angels are present even in whispered conversations and shady deals. And Archangel Michael took note of every word spoken behind your back. Every lie. Every plan. Every stolen opportunity. Type Amen 727 to get blessings. Archangel Michael says, "You were not meant to know back then. Because if you had known, your heart would have broken too soon. The pain would have been premature. You might have tried to fix something that was already spiritually rotting from within." So heaven said, "Not yet." And they closed the door before you could try to hold it open. There's something powerful about delayed revelation. It protects you while preparing you. It allows heaven to do the heavy lifting, gathering evidence, issuing divine warnings, and placing spiritual boundaries, without you needing to get your hands dirty. Now, as Archangel Michael steps forward, the message is clear: you were betrayed. But you will not be broken. This person's access has been revoked because their intentions were no longer pure. They smiled in your presence but plotted with their words behind your back. That's not just betrayal. That's a violation of divine trust. And here's where heaven draws the line: no one is allowed to interfere with the calling God has placed on your life. No one. Not even someone you once loved. Archangel Michael says, the person heaven is now blocking from your life formed an unhealthy soul tie with you. Whether it was romantic, emotional, or even spiritual, the bond between you and this person was quietly draining your light. Their energy was like a slow leak in your spirit. They may have come to you when they were broken, needy, or lost. At first, you offered kindness. You prayed for them. You helped them. But over time, it wasn't mutual. It became one-sided, and without you realizing it, they were pulling more from you than you could replenish. Your joy decreased. Your clarity became foggy. Your spiritual sensitivity dulled. And the scariest part? You blamed yourself. That's the power of a dangerous soul tie. It blinds you to your own exhaustion. It convinces you to stay out of guilt, to ignore red flags in the name of compassion, and to hold on even when heaven is screaming, "Let go." But here's the most important part: do not reopen what heaven has shut, even if they try to reach out with apologies, promises, or new versions of themselves. Even if you feel sympathy. Even if your heart wants to forgive and reconnect. Forgiveness can happen without reattachment. This soul tie was not ordained. It was allowed for a season, to teach you, test you, and awaken your discernment. But the season is now over. You are being loosed. You are being cleansed. And most importantly, you are being prepared for divine relationships that heal, not harm. Archangel Michael says, there was a moment, maybe recent, maybe distant, when this person picked up their phone and began typing a message meant for you. They hovered over send. Their fingers hesitated. Something in them urged to reach out. But the message never arrived. You didn't receive it, not because they changed their mind, but because heaven intercepted it. Type Amen 293 to get blessings. Archangel Michael reveals that the communication was stopped in the spiritual realm before it could ever reach you. Angels, as divine messengers and protectors, are not only assigned to bring blessings, they are also sent to block attacks masquerading as emotional outreach. You see, what looked like a message of reconciliation or closure was actually laced with subtle manipulation. Words designed to confuse you, reopen your wounds, or reintroduce spiritual influence were masked behind apologies, just checking in lines, or nostalgic references. But heaven saw what you couldn't, the true spiritual intent behind the text. Sometimes, the most dangerous attacks don't come through weapons, they come through words. This person knew how to touch the places in your heart that are still healing. They knew your compassion, your loyalty, your need for closure. And they were preparing to use all of that, not to bless you, but to regain control. Heaven could not allow it. That message, whether a DM, text, email, or call, was spiritually blocked, deleted, or left in their drafts for a reason. Even if you felt a sudden emotional wave, a thought about them out of nowhere, or an anxious stirring in your spirit, that was not intuition. That was spiritual warfare being fought on your behalf. Archangel Michael and your divine team were standing between you and words that would have set you back months in your healing. Let this settle in your spirit. What you didn't receive protected what you're about to walk into. Type Amen 393 to get blessings. You are in a delicate transition, a sacred passage from one spiritual level to the next. And the enemy knows that if he can't stop you with tragedy, he will try to stop you with sentimentality. Old conversations. Familiar voices. Unfinished business. That's how he reopens closed portals. But heaven has declared, no more access. No more delay. No more deception. You didn't miss anything. In fact, you were spared everything. Archangel Michael says, I remind you that silence is not always absence, it is sometimes protection wrapped in stillness. What you don't hear today is the reason you'll be rejoicing tomorrow. God's delay is never a denial, it's often a shield. And while they may still attempt to send another message in the future, know this, every word must pass through heaven's filter before it reaches your door. That's how guarded your destiny is. Keep moving forward. Your journey is being purified. And what's coming next doesn't require their words, only your obedience to heaven's silence. Type Amen 204 to get blessings. There is a moment coming, so precise, so divinely timed, that you will no longer have to wonder, doubt, or ask what really happened behind your back. Heaven is preparing to reveal the truth to you with clarity and undeniable confirmation. This person, whose access to your life has been revoked, has operated for too long in the shadows of secrecy. They whispered behind your back, made deals without your knowledge, and perhaps even smiled in your face while laying spiritual traps behind your name. And now, the veil is lifting. Archangel Michael is at work, not just shielding you, but bringing light to what was concealed. That's the nature of truth, it cannot stay buried forever. What was hidden in silence will soon be shouted through signs, dreams, divine whispers, and, sometimes, by the person themselves slipping up. Pay close attention in the coming days. The truth may arrive in ways that seem random at first, a conversation overheard, a friend accidentally revealing too much, a strange dream that won't leave your spirit, or a sudden moment of knowing in your heart that burns with peace and conviction. These are not coincidences, they are holy alerts. You may feel chills. You may feel a deep sorrow when the full picture is revealed. But don't let pain distort your perception. The truth isn't being shown to hurt you, it's being revealed to free you. There is power in exposure. There is cleansing in clarity. You have been walking through a fog, not because you were blind, but because heaven was guiding you gently into a higher awareness. You needed time to heal, strengthen, and anchor your identity before being shown what was really going on. And now that your soul is ready, heaven is removing the blindfold. Type Amen 2983 to get blessings. And here's something even more important, when the truth comes, you won't feel revengeful, you'll feel grateful. Because deep down, your spirit already knew. It just needed heaven's confirmation. Archangel Michael says, don't fight to prove anything. Don't argue. Don't seek to confront. Just observe, and walk away in victory. Because this revelation isn't for retribution, it's for your release. This person, whether a friend, a lover, a mentor, or even a family member, crossed spiritual lines that heaven does not ignore. They took what was sacred, your trust, and treated it like a weapon. But now, the truth is rising like the morning sun. And no matter how they try to deny or disguise it, you will see them clearly. The masks are coming off. And when the truth comes, don't fear it. Embrace it. Let it strengthen your voice, reinforce your boundaries, and remind you that heaven never stopped watching over you. The truth is not coming to break you. It's coming to liberate you. In the spiritual realm, there is something called divine restraint, a powerful intervention in which heaven places a limit on what someone can say or do concerning you. And right now, Archangel Michael wants you to know, this person is under divine restraint. Type Amen 2932 to get blessings. They are not just blocked from contacting you, they're restricted from even speaking your name in vain. Whether they try to gossip, cast blame, or bring you up casually in conversations with hidden malice, heaven shuts their lips. Their words, when spoken against you, carry spiritual consequences now. Why? Because your name is anointed. Your journey is sacred. And you have entered a season where heaven fiercely protects your identity and reputation. This individual once carried influence over how others perceived you. Perhaps they twisted your words, subtly discredited you, or shared personal details that you once entrusted to them. At one point, they thought they could control the narrative. But not anymore. Archangel Michael has stepped in to draw a holy line they are not permitted to cross. From now on, when they try to mention you, they'll feel resistance either spiritually, emotionally, or circumstantially. They'll stumble over your name, feel shame, or be exposed in the very moment they attempt to speak of you. Their voice is under divine surveillance. Even thinking of you with impure intent causes a disturbance in their spirit, because heaven has marked you as off limits. You may not witness this happening with your physical eyes, but know that in the spiritual world, a barrier has been formed. This barrier doesn't just keep them out, it protects your name from being misused, misrepresented, or misunderstood by those who might still be in contact with them. This is spiritual justice at work. Type Amen 998 to get blessings. Let this sink in. When heaven anoints you for a new level, your name becomes a sword or a seed. To those in alignment, your name will plant blessing. But to those with wrong motives, your name becomes a sword they cannot hold without injury. That is the kind of protection that now surrounds you. So if you've been wondering why rumors are suddenly dying, or why others no longer mention certain conversations, it's because heaven has pressed pause on the mouths of those who once used your story as entertainment. And if they attempt to force it, if they dare to curse what God has blessed, the consequences will be swift. They will reap what they have sown. Not by your hand, but by the laws of spiritual alignment that heaven governs with righteousness. You are not defenseless. You are divinely defended. Let the silence continue. Let heaven fight for you. Because the very name they once spoke carelessly is now protected like a sacred scroll, untouchable, invincible, and marked by fire. Type Amen 238 to get blessings. Archangel Michael says, right now, your life may feel like it's being stripped down, like things are falling away. People you once trusted are distant. Opportunities that once excited you now feel closed off. But what looks like loss is actually divine redirection. Archangel Michael says, heaven is not just removing people, it's repositioning you for purpose. The silence, the distance, the sudden emotional shifts are not accidents. They are signs that you're entering a new alignment, one where only those who honor your purpose can walk with you. It's painful to admit, but some of the people you once confided in were not equipped to carry the next season of your life. They were attached to the older version of you, the one who didn't yet know how to guard your light, your time, and your heart. And now that you're awakening, growing, and walking in spiritual clarity, heaven is cleaning house. Archangel Michael is actively redirecting your steps, not away from people, but toward divine connections. He is clearing space for relationships that bring clarity, not confusion. Loyalty, not jealousy. Elevation, not distraction. This is protection in progress. You see, we often pray for God to bless us, to send favor, to unlock our destiny. But we forget, blessing requires space. If your heart is crowded with false loyalty and counterfeit ties, there's no room for the divine partnerships that are meant to launch you into purpose. That's why some conversations are drying up. Some invitations are being missed. Some texts are never coming back. It's not a mistake. It's not rejection. It's heaven saying, you've outgrown the old. You're being transitioned into a space where you no longer chase clarity, you attract it. Where people don't tolerate your presence, they honor it. Where connections don't require guesswork or emotional compromise, they flow with peace and divine timing. Right now, Archangel Michael is preparing to introduce you to people who were assigned to walk with you at this level. These new alignments may come as sudden encounters, divine appointments, or unexpected reconnections with people you lost touch with. But when they arrive, you will feel the difference immediately. There will be peace. Mutual respect. No performance. Just spiritual resonance. Type Amen 392 to get blessings. And here's what's even more beautiful, you'll look back at this silence with gratitude. You'll thank God for unanswered messages. For blocked attempts. For the separation that once felt like loss but turned out to be the greatest rescue of your life. You're not being abandoned. You're being promoted. Let the clearing continue. Let the silence deepen. Because from this sacred stillness, divine partnerships are rising. And in them, you'll find the safety, clarity, and celebration that the last person could never give. Archangel Michael says, you are standing at the edge of a divine threshold. The work has already begun, heaven has severed a toxic tie, exposed deception, and rerouted your destiny. But now, Archangel Michael says it's time for you to activate the shield, to consciously seal this protection and take full authority over your spiritual borders. You see, heaven can intervene, angels can fight, and spiritual doors can be closed. But if you leave the gate open through doubt, fear, or lingering emotional attachment, the enemy will look for loopholes. So now, your job is not just to receive protection, it's to enforce it. Type Amen 837 to get blessings. First, begin with a spoken declaration. Your words carry creative power in the spiritual realm. Feel the shift as you speak it. You are not begging, you are commanding, as one seated in spiritual authority. Second, change your posture. Stop looking back. Stop rereading old texts. Stop analyzing silence or replaying what could have been. Archangel Michael reminds you, what heaven removes, do not mourn. Trust the silence. It has more power than the loudest apology ever could. Third, prepare your space, internally and externally, for new divine alignments. This is where the shield turns into a beacon. Just as you block what's harmful, you now become visible to what's holy. People aligned with your next level will begin to find you. Doors will open. Peace will increase. Not because you fought harder, but because you surrendered smarter. Fourth, guard your energy. Be mindful of what you entertain, who you let speak into your spirit, and what you expose your heart to. Protection is not paranoia, it's wisdom. You don't need to fear anyone, but you must discern everyone. Type Amen 293 to get blessings. Archangel Michael is surrounding you now. His sword of truth, light, and justice is cutting through every remaining cord of deception. His wings form a barrier over your life, shielding you from retaliation, from emotional relapse, from anything that might try to sneak back in under the disguise of reconciliation. You are safe. You are sealed. And you are surrounded by divine fire. Finally, give thanks. Thank God for what was hidden. Thank heaven for what didn't reach you. Thank Archangel Michael for standing between you and destruction. Gratitude is a final layer of protection. It keeps your focus on the victory, not the battle. It is done. Walk forward. The past no longer has access. The voice that once confused you is silenced. And heaven has spoken. They are not allowed to speak to you, because your purpose is too sacred to be disturbed. Amen. Type Amen 288 to get blessings.